Alright there, ladies and gentlemen, I am the almightyzentaco, and we're gonna do another episode of Let's Make a Game. Start this sucker up. So we probably need to name this project so it's not just new game, because that's kind of lame. So I noticed something last time. Let's take a look. It's a little bug. Oh, I was playing around with some effects for the layer. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that's a none because I don't want any effects right now. All right, so look at this. So if you tap the button, you see how he does his little morph and he expands and contracts. If we hold it though, he does it once. And this is why. Let's go ahead and take a look at the event editor. It's under player movement. So up here on line 19 through 21, this is where we're doing the toggling of the flag, which controls the stretching of the player. So the problem is that it only happens when we press the button. We need it to happen when we hold it in. So let's do that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and simply replace these with a new command. That's going to be the keyboard repeat while key is pressed. So I'm going to copy these down and edit them. So this one needs to be down, and this one's going to be left, and this one's going to be right. Now, we also need to take into account the restrict actions. We don't want this to happen all the time while we hold it in, just every so often. Otherwise, he will move way too quick. I'll show you what I mean. Watch. The toggle happens way too fast. Honestly, we could just add these lines to these lines up here, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave them like this, and we're going to need to match the restriction. So I'm going to copy that restriction and paste it. Boom, 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 boom. Now when I run it, it should... Yep, he still has a little pulse every single time he moves. Which is not super noticeable when he's spazzing out like that, but it is enough of a deal that that is something we wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save it now. Boom. Alright, so what is it I want to get done today? Well, I'm thinking we're going to add some NPCs and some dialogue. So that's what's on the docket. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and insert a new object. Boom. And this is going to be our NPC. Now, I'm going to have the code on the NPCs not be relative to this particular object, but to a qualifier. That way it's a lot easier to make a lot of these with different variables and whatnot, and they'll all do the same thing. So let's go ahead and add a qualifier to it. And I think they have an NPC qualifier. I guess we just call it friends. I thought there was an NPC. Boom. So we're going to use the NPC qualifier. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do the dialogue. We're going to need some objects for that. I'm going to toss in an active up here. I'm going to call this thing, oops, not position. There we go. I'm going to call this dialogue object. I might use this for lots of stuff, actually. Just going to call this var box. Okay, we're going to use this to store a bunch of variables. It's just an object to use variables, you know. Otherwise, your variables get all over the place, gets confusing. So I like to put them all in one box. I'm probably going to give that a picture so I can see it easily. All right, so that's a really bad picture of a box. I don't know what I was going for there. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm going to need some variables on this sucker. We're going to need strings, actually. We're going to need a target string and a current string value. So this will just allow me to store a bunch of variables like I was saying. Then we're going to need a string object. Can't see that. Let's go ahead and change the text to white for now. There we go. That's nice. Okay, so the string needs to follow the frame, or rather not follow the frame. We want it to move along with the character. I think it does that by default though. Yeah, so follow the frame's not checked. If you look at other objects, follow the frame is checked by default. That means that it'll stay here in the frame when it moves. The frame moves, not the object. Whereas if it doesn't follow the frame, well then it doesn't do that. So like if we move off screen, that text comes with us. Let's go ahead and nullify that though at start. I don't really need that to be anything. We don't need to see it. Still there though. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some code to do this. I'm gonna put this in its own group of events. All right, so what we want to do is check to see if the current string is different than the value of target string. So that means that the current string is not the target string being what we want to display, so that means we need to display some new text. We're also going to limit this, so I'm going to insert a timer. Damn dog. This house is so damn noisy. So we're going to say, I don't know, we'll do 10 milliseconds. That might be a little fast. So all we're going to do is make the current string become the target string. So we'll do that this way. Alterable strings, set current string, and we want that to be left $, that'll grab the left part of a string, and the string we want to grab from is target string. And how far to the right of the left do we want to go? And that is going to be the length, that's what len stands for, the length of the current string, +1. Oh wait, length of current string, boom, gotta close it off, +1, and parentheses. Alright, so blah 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 blah, that looks like that works. All we need to do now is display that string, so we're gonna change the string to be, change our alterable string to the value of current string. Alright, make sure everything's in the right order. We want to set the actual display the string after we've updated it. And now we need to change that string, so we'll do that this way. This will just be a little test. Upon pressing spacebar, I'm just going to change the value of target string. And we'll be like, waka, waka, waka. Alright, let's see if that works. Waka, waka, waka. Nice. Okay, so that is pretty much the basics of a dialog system. We're going to need another active object, though. I'm going to make this the box that shows the dialog. I don't know. Maybe it should be white. Maybe it should be white. Also don't want this to follow the frame. Boom. It needs to be black with a white outline. And this is just going to be a little stand-in. I'll probably update these graphics later. Okay, so obviously I don't want this to always be visible. I'm going to actually make this thing bounce, like the character bounces. It's going to be a really squishy game, so I'm going to need some variables for that. We're going to need tar x, tar y, x scalar, y scalar, and based on we're gonna need a buffer too. That way we can let this box disappear after a certain amount of time, and a trans value. All right, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so upon pressing spacebar, that is simulating when we talk to someone. So what we're going to do there is set on a flag. And that's going to be flag 0. So when flag 0 is on and off, we need to change some stuff around. Flag 0 on, and flag 0 is off. Okay, so two different stuff. Flag 0 on, flag 0 off. When flag 0 is on, that means we are talking to someone. So we want to subtract 1 from trans. And when it is on, we want to add one to trans. And then we're going to always set the value, or the semi-transparency of this object to the value of trans. So that's under effect, compatibility, set semi-transparency, and what we're going to do is set that to the value of trans. Okay. All right, so we need to do another dealio. We're going to insert it here, new event, and we're going to find out if the alterable value, sorry, that is wrong. We want to find out if, where is it? New event, alterable string. We want to know if target string equals current string. If that is true, we know we are done. So whenever we're done, we're going to set that flag off. Set off flag 0. So no, we're no longer dealing with that. All right. Let's also see if we can set the semi-transparency. I don't know if this works. I'm going to try to set the semi-transparency of the string also to match the semi-transparency of the box. So effect, compatibility, semi-transparency, and that's the value of trans. All right, so that toggle, that sets it off. When it's off, we are getting, yeah. Now we need to, I'm going to do that this way actually. So when it's on, we were subtracting. So what we're going to do is set the alterable value of trans to the max of 0 and its current value minus 1. So what that should do is always subtract 1 from trans, but not allow it to get below 0. Once it's below 0, it will give us 0. And we're going to do the opposite over here. I'll just do this. Boom. Edit. And we're going to do min. For the first value, we're going to do trans plus 1. And second value, we're going to, I don't know, we want the minimum of this, so I don't know. Invisible is like 160, so we'll just say 200. Too many closed brackets. Min. No? Oh yeah. Yes. Boom. Alright, that should work. Yep. I press space and oh. Okay, so it did work, but it was a little wonky. It went off right away. Oh yeah, that's right. We went the buffer. Derp. First thing we want to do is make sure that this value of this object is already invisible. So that'd be like 200 or even like 500. So it's really invisible. And then we want some time to happen. We want to have excess visibility, if that makes sense. So on the max, yeah, this one, we're going to go ahead and set this to a negative value so we can have some excess visibility, like negative 200. All right, let's see if that works now. Damn. I don't want to toggle the flag off yet just for being there. We want that to happen whenever you press a button and the current string is equal. That way you let the player decide. We'll say upon pressing a key, and I'll make that spacebar. And we'll edit this one to be like number 1. Yep, that works. A little slow on the fadeaway. All right, so pressing spacebar, set the flag off. All right, this is -2. When it's off, it's +1. We'll give it +2. We'll make it 160. Actually, I think it's supposed to be 180. The transparency value is like 180. It's not quite 200. Maybe 160. I don't know. Maybe we don't want the dialog to appear. If you notice when we go ahead and do this, the dialog appears and is already clicking away even though it's not fully visible. So we probably don't want this to happen unless the visibility of our object is fully visible. So we'll check to see if the value of our box, the trans value, is greater than 160. Then it will start doing its dialog count. Did I cap it at 160? Oh wait, duh. No, that's wrong. Lower than 0. Needs to be fully visible first. There we go. Waka waka waka. And if I press space, it should go away. Very slowly. It's because we have too much excess visibility. We didn't need to do that actually. So that was negative 200. We're just going to make that a straight 0. And then this can be equals 0. Let's try it now. Waka waka waka. And space. And it goes away. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's save it. Okay, so it's actually been like 3 weeks since the last cut. I got really sick, and then a lot of other stuff happened, and I've just been a little preoccupied. So I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I think we are adding NPCs. This is lines here, so I think we're adding dialogue lines. I don't know if I recorded that. I'm going to assume this active is an NPC. Yeah, it has a qualifier NPC, so this is in fact an NPC. Has an alterable value. I'm going to delete that. Okay, so I want the NPCs to animate and also to have lines of dialogue. I could give them strings and read pulled from their strings, but I don't want to do that because I want them to have multiple lines of dialogue, and that might be not ideal. So we're just going to give them a value. We're going to call it line 1, and we'll give them a second one. Line 2, and I'm going to use this for initializing dialogue. So for example, this guy's line 1 will start at 0, so whenever we talk to this guy, he will read line 0. Why it's set up right now though that this won't work, we have to modify this code a bit, because what's going to happen is it's just going to turn off this flag, and the box is going to go away whenever the string has finished. We don't want that to happen. Whenever we press space and the string is finished, we want to then move the lines of dialogue over by 1. I'm going to add 1 to the dialogue lines. We'll actually store the lines of dialogue here where it says lines under 47. And we will need to have an alterable value that takes care of that. We'll just put it in the var box. So we've got target string, current string. Alright, we'll just call it dialogue line. Actually, current dialogue line. Cur dialogue line. Okay. Since I haven't been touching this game in a while, it's been over 3 weeks, this is going to be a little sloppy, sorry. But I definitely need to get this video out because it's been a long time, and then if I don't, I'll lose all 5,000 subscribers. It'll be sad. I guess I'll just draw some art for this guy. Let's go ahead and name him NPC 1. Now, you guys have been nice enough to give me a ton of art and stuff under Let's Make a Game. I will be plugging this stuff in. What is this? I don't know. I will be plugging this stuff in, but right now we're gonna... Yeah, that's really cool. But right now I'm just gonna... My first guy is gonna be something I make, and then once I get the code all sorted out, we will start plugging in NPCs that you guys make. So this guy needs 2 2 frames, or 2 animations. He needs a walking, which is going to be when he's talking. He's going to flip out like the main character. He's going to spaz around. When he's stopped, it's going to have him bounce like the main character does. He's going to squish in and out. So that can pretty much be static. Maybe just have a blink or something. Okie doke. So we got this NPC done. So that's just what he looks like normally. This is going to be his spaz out mode. Here are the different frames. Not sure how that's going to look, but that's what we're going to have him do. Okay, so right now he's got line 0, and then we'll give him a line 3. So what this is going to be is 2 different states. So like I'm assuming these guys are going to do something. So like once you accomplish something, then it will open up line 2 instead of line 1. So they'll have 2 different modes of dialogue. That's the plan anyway. Alright, so this is just going to be a test. Where did I put the dialogue? It's current dialogue line. There you go. So I'm going to need an object that follows the player that allows us to overlap. Actually, I can just use the sprite. Oh wait, I need to have some we need to sort this guy out. Okay, we don't want the player to be able to overlap the NPC, so we're going to copy this line on 16, which is where we do our collisions with the backdrop, and replace that with player overlapping another object, and that's going to be the type NPC. Let's test and see if that works. It does in fact work, but we also want to make sure that the player is always being brought to the front. We need a Z hierarchy. Let's go ahead and just stick it under. We'll give it its own spot in the code. It's fine. It's gonna be 1 line, but I don't know. I don't know how to spell hierarchy. Hierarchy. We're gonna assume that's right. This just needs to be an always event, and we're gonna use this to decide which objects are in which order. So we're going to do this by just bringing them to front in the order in which we bring them to front, and it's going to determine which ones are on top. Obviously, those brought to front last will be the ones on top. So order, bring to front. And then lastly, we want to bring the dialog box to front. Actually, last thing we want to do is bring the string to front. So this order, bring to front. Now, if we run this, we should find out that my player is and the dialogue is above everything. So that's what we wanted, and it works. Sweet bejeebus. Hallelujahs. Alright, so now we gotta do the dialogue. So we're gonna do that this way. We're gonna find out if the var box, we're gonna find out if that value of current dialogue line equals 0. And then we're going to change the target string value. We actually need to have 1 null string, which is going to be 0. So we're going to actually have this guy's first string be, our first line be 1, not 0. Otherwise, this probably won't work right. Alright, so current dialogue line 1 equals 1. Then what we're going to do is set the targets, or yeah, the target string to be something. So let's do that now. Set target string, I'll just say like, hello there, you weird orange freak. What do you want from me? And then let's have a line 2 as well. See if I can get this working so you can have multiple lines. I don't have anything useful for you. Chomp! I don't know. We're going to change this. This is just stand-in tests. And then line 3 is going to be null. Okay, so I need an object to overlap this guy to check to see if we are in range to do some dialogue. We'll just call it dialogue tester. That's a dumb name. NPC collision tester. It's unnecessarily verbose. Let's make this a block. And to make it a big old fatty block. Alright, there we go. Now this is going to be the dialogue, so I'll just throw it here on the always event here. And I will always set its position. Relative to the position of the player object. And that can go ahead and just be centered. You know what? We're going to actually center it on the sprite, not the actual player, because the sprite and the player have an offset. And we want this to be relative to the player, what we see as the player, because that just makes more sense. Okay, so that... You know what? No, that's not right. Had it right initially. It's better to have it placed relative to the player. That way we can have conversations from above if needed. Excuse me. Okay, obviously we don't want to see this dumb thing, so let's just go ahead and make it invisible. So this does not have to be visible at start. Boom. Okay, now we need to actually trigger dialogue. How am I going to do that? So let me read this for a second. Current string is not equal string. That's how we stop having a conversation. We'll keep using the space as the trigger. Okay. Collision overlapping another object. That's of the type NPC. Now we only want to initialize this once, obviously, because we're going to be pulling the dialogue and then advancing it. Okay, if we press space and we're overlapping this, then what are we going to do? We are going to set the... No. We're going to set the value of... Yes, we're going to set the value of current dialogue line 2. Pulling from the NPC, we're going to grab the value of line 1. Now we're going to have to do another one for line 2 as well, so I'll have to do something with a flag, but right now I don't actually have anything going on with that. For simplicity's sake, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this second one here, and we'll take care of that later. Okay, so then we set dialogue line to line 1, and it does its thing. Let's see if it works. Didn't do jack poopy poop. Set dialogue line to line 1. Wait, set current dialogue line to line 1 of NPC. Current dialogue sets target string to hello there, you weird orange freak. Oh. Need to set the flag on. Yes, we need to set flag 1 on whenever that happens. So let's throw that up there. I can actually delete this. That doesn't need to be there. That was just a test. Hello there, you weird orange freak. What do you want from me? That's really slow dialogue. What controls my dialogue here? Here's the speed. Let's edit that. Let's make that 4. Okay, I need to advance the dialogue. So we don't want this to be... That does not need to happen. Boom. On line 46, if the string does equal... Okay. On line 46, all we want to do is advance the dialogue, so we'll go to alterable values, and we're going to add 1 to current dialogue line. Though we need to change the trigger here when we actually trigger it, because he'll still be overlapping, so this will be continually setting the current dialogue line back to the initializing line. We don't want that, so what do we know about this? Well, we know that the flag is currently on, so we want to make sure that the flag is off when we do this. right? I think that's right, guys. Seems right. Go to flags. Is flag off? That's flag 0. Boom. So overlapping, flag is off upon pressing spacebar. Whoa, okay, it worked, but it like flew through it really quick. Why the hell did that happen? Current string equal. So it equaled this. We pressed spacebar, added 1. Let's limit that maybe. We need to nullify it. Nullify the current line. Okay, so alterable strings. We want to set current string to null. Boom. Nullify the current string, and then add 1 to the dialog line. That should fix it, I think. I don't know why that takes so long. Like, nothing's happening the first time I press it. Boom, nothing happens. Hit it the second time, then we get it. Hello there, you weird orange freak. What do you want from me? I don't have anything useful for you, chump. And it goes away. So, okay, so we got a basic dialogue system. It does seem to function right now. Let me go ahead and save. There is a problem, though. I have to press space twice. Why is that? What is happening here? Let me... Okay, pressing space. Nothing. Pressing space again. Dialogue. I don't know why that is. I did something weird, and it's been a while since I've looked at this code, so I'm not sure what exactly I did wrong. I'll have to figure that out. Internal flag to 0 is off from pressing spacebar. Set current dialog to line, and we pulled it and set the flag on. Current string does not equal. Every 4 seconds, what does flag on do? That just changes the transparency. Trans has to equal 0. Okay, so we will go ahead and set the transparency straight to 0. Maybe that'll do it. Alter value, set trans to 0. Because over here we see that trans has to equal 0 before it'll start reading this off. So let's go ahead and just do that there. And maybe that will fix everything. What? Huh, what happened there? It showed up, trans was 0, and it went right back down. It went away. Set current dialog line to line 1. What is this line 1? Is it 0? No, it's 1. Target string equals current string. That would be true initially because the target string and current string. So it's adding 1 to current dialog line. Well, time for some debugging. Everyone loves debugging. Let's go ahead and add the var box and let's see what's going on. So dialog line is currently 0. Straight to 2. That's the problem. It went to 2. Then I press it again, it goes back to 1. So I found out what's wrong. The question is, why did it do that? Add 1 to dialog line. Well, what is the current dialog line right now? It's 0. So it starts at 0. Press space. Set current string to nothing. Add 1 to current dialog line. Am I still recording? Yes. All right. Debugging, dudes. This is what game design is about. Mostly, you're like, what? What went wrong? What did I do wrong? I'll tell you what. Editing this video is gonna be a bitch. All right. Current string does not equal target string. Straight to 2. So let's see. Let's go through this logically. I'm overlapping, the flag is off, I press the space bar. So it grabbed the line, it set it straight to 1. Okay, so our line is now, we pulled it from our NPC, so the line is currently 1. So, does the current string Ah. So it's still nothing. So the actual string hasn't changed yet because we don't actually plug that, change the value of that string till down here. So let's find out what happened. So, okay. So right now the current string is actually the same as the target string because they're both just null. So this doesn't trigger. This actually is going to trigger because we press space. So it's going to set the current string back to null and add 1. So it's going to jump straight to 1. Right? No, it was already 1. So it added 1. So now we're 2. That's why we're at 2. Okay. So the question is, how do I fix this? Put it to 1. Let me think. Really simple. I can just change the order of these. So let's say if I did it this way, target string is going to be the same. It's going to add 1 to it. I think if I just replace these positioning here, it'll actually plug the line in last. Yeah, that should work. Nope. No! Okay. Internal flag 0 is off. It should be off by default. And I press spacebar. So this should have triggered. Right? Setting current line to 1. Oh, wait. Target string is still... Target string is null here. Yeah, let's go ahead and inactivate that. Okay, that fixed it. Now it won't go away. So to fix that, I'm just going to go ahead and change the order here. We're going to grab this line 50. I'm going to put that there inside of the lines code and activate it. Now, that should work. Hello there, you weird orange freak. What do you want from me? I don't have anything useful for you, chump. Hello there, you weird orange freak. What? No, no. Okay, I think I can fix this. Here's what we're going to do. We're creating a value here. You can put it anywhere. I'm going to stick it on this thing here in the NPC collision tester. Calling it dialog cooldown. It's a cooldown value. What I'm going to do is create a cooldown so that this cannot trigger too quickly in succession. We're going to make sure that, whatever, it's not going to trigger too quickly in succession. So here on line 54, where I check for the null string and then flip off the flag, I want to make sure that the flag is on when I do this. Is flag on. That's flag 0. Then if that is true, because I don't want this to happen whenever it's off, because that would cause a conflict. So when it's on and the string is null, then what we're going to do is set, well, we're going to set the flag off, and then we're going to set this value, die cooldown. I'll make it like 30. Okay, and then I want to make sure that here on line 46 where you trigger the conversation, that the dialog cooldown is 0. Let's check that. Dialog cooldown equals 0. And now I need to do the cooldown thing, bring it down. So let's find out if the dialog cooldown is greater than 0. And if it's greater than 0, we will subtract 1 from it, bringing it down to 0. Okay, so, that was kind of a pain, but let's see if it works. All right, hello there, you weird orange freak. What do you want from me? I don't have anything useful for you, chump. And it's over. Can we trigger the dialog again? We can. For some reason, I have like a shaky screen when I press space. Ah, that was a test here for the amplification. We don't want that. Bye-bye. All right, so that works. Now we just need to get the NPC to squish and expand just like we did with our player, and then flip out whenever, whenever he's in a conversation. We can just stick that under lines, actually. Or dialogue, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the same thing as this, pretty much. So we'll do that. I'll just copy and paste this here. So when the string is not the same, and then I don't want to do that though, or that. This is something different. So it is visible and we're talking. That's too often. We're going to make it every 10. What we're going to do is set the npcs animation. We're going to change it to walking. This might actually be a problem. We'll see. And I'm going to set the animation frame to a random. I think I have 8 frames. Okay. Okay. And whenever it is off, that means we're not having a conversation. Then and I only want that to happen once, so I actually don't want to do that. I'll do it this way. Right here, whenever we set everything off. We're also going to set the NPC's animation. We're going to change the animation sequence back to its little idle state. Let's see if we can get him to flip out. Yep. It's a bit much. That's a bit much, so we probably want to edit this bit. And we'll say every, 20. Need a sound effect to go along with this, and that should do it. How many frames does he actually have? Let's find out. He has 9 frames. So we want to change that code to reflect that. Where the hell did I put it? Right here. We will say edit force to random 9. Okay, so when it is the same though, whenever the dialogue has finished, I want his animation to go back to stopped. So I will do that this way. Copy line 45. Now I don't recommend you do it this way in terms of like, this is messy. I'm not really coding this properly. I'm not really putting down very good comments, but whatever. All right, so we don't want to do that at all. We don't care about that. So when the target string equals the current string, now I do realize this is going to cause a conflict here. Whenever it's null, this will be true. So hopefully this isn't a problem. I don't think it will be. It's just we're going to be constantly setting the animation to stopped. So this might cause a conflict if I ever have other animations for these characters. I'll have to figure some kind of workaround. Okay, see, when he's done talking, then he's back to his default. All right, so we need to get this guy to be able to scale. So we're gonna need a X scalar, a Y scalar, target X and target Y. And you know what? You already watched me do this for the player, so we're just gonna skip this and I will show you the result through the magic of editing. Woo! Magic. And voila! Alright, so our NPC kind of just bounces around a bit. And we can talk to him and he spazzes out. Need to add a sound effect for that. But once I do, it'll be pretty cool. The problem is we can move. I don't want to let the player move whenever there's some dialogue going on. So we go ahead and we can just modify the inputs here. Hold on a second. What is this? Internal flag 0. What is internal flag 0? Dang it. I don't know what that does. So right now we're not letting the player move when internal flag 0 is on. When is it on? When we move. Oh. Yeah, that's because we have... Okay, that's because we have a... I'm pretty sure that's our delay. We have a little buffer. We're going to have to add another thing to this. We'll just do it this way. We want to make sure that dialogue's not happening. So that's internal flag 0 being off, I believe. Yes. So we're going to have to add that stipulation here. We're going to find out if the flag 0 is off. Gonna go ahead and copy and paste this all around here. And let's see if it works. Look at him wiggle. He still wiggles when you press it though. Woohoo! He looks like he's getting a little bit happy with our NPC there. We're gonna go ahead and leave that. There we go. There we go. Keeping it PG. Alright, I'm going to increase the buffer size of when we can initiate dialogue again because it lets me initiate it too quickly. So where is that? It's the dialogue cooldown. Sets to 30. We're going to set that to 100. And I'm going to save. And that, my friends, is all we have time for blah, blah, blah. Language difficult. That is all we have time for today. This is probably gonna be a long video, and I feel like we didn't get that much done. So I'm gonna actually write out an itinerary of what we want to add to this game, and I'm gonna try to make this a little more interesting. I apologize for the huge delay in videos, guys. Like I said, I've been busy. I got sick, you know, and there was that whole thing with that Russian spy chick that I was talking about earlier. You know, it was a whole big thing. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. I will be making a tutorial soon because I feel like, you know, maybe it's time for a tutorial instead of this whole series. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed it. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. See you around.